All right.
Okay. So maybe we can just start by going through these questions that Cheryl put at the bottom of the doc. Maybe we can just take turns sharing our thoughts and adding things. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
I'm good. I mean, I think it'd be great if sometimes when somebody makes a comment, then it helps you think of what you want to say. So the first one that I put up there, I just formulated questions from that list that they had at the bottom of the assignment. One of the things that I noticed that was very interesting to me was that she suggested that we watch it, because in watching it we would see things that we wouldn't hear or read. And what I noticed was the body language. You know, everybody was pretty stiff when they came in. And it was interesting to me that the husband and wife didn't sit next to each other. The daughter felt pretty safe in the situation, and that's what spoke to me immediately, was that the daughter felt safe in the family and kind of in control. And so she plopped herself right down in between the parents. And the son, on the other hand, was over in the other chair, you know, and he clearly was disengaged. So to me, that was subtle, you know, that where they sit, and so I'm going to put that down. Where each family member chose to sit, and who they sat next to.
But where are you gonna put it from those nine steps?
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood. I thought Rachel had said, let's go down to the questions at the bottom. So did I misunderstand that?
No. Yeah,
no, that's what I thought.
We're starting at the bottom. It's so not the 9 steps. It's like below the 9 steps.
Okay. So what I noticed with them is that the counselor start asking questions about the family. What do you like to do? You know, and he asked individually. So I guess he did that to make a sense of who they are and how to approach them, because later on when he started talking to them, he went back, oh, you say that you like skating. Can you? And when he started finding the solutions, he went from the beginning to the end to tie it. Okay, what the parents can do with you. You know, that really, really caught my attention, because the counselor was really 100% paying all the attention possible and remember everything that the family were saying. That, and I think that was very not subtle. It was very, what's the other word? Overt.
Mm-hmm.
That it was very obvious that he was fishing for information to know the family, so he will know how to help them out.
Yeah, I like that too. It seemed like the family members seemed like hesitant about saying a lot of things, like hesitant about expressing their feelings for each other. But then the therapist kind of picked up on little cues, and he listened to what they said, and then he kind of restated it in a way that was more clear and easier for everyone to understand, so that everybody was on the same page.
Yes. Yeah, I really like that.
I completely, what Clary said was exactly what I was going to say. And then also, kind of what you said, Rachel, is he would go through and he would kind of try to turn their negatives into a positive. Like, you know, it may seem like she's really upset with you, but she's actually really worried. And so then it got him thinking. He's like, oh, okay. And he's like, do you see how much she cares about you? And it kind of changed his demeanor. You know, he at the very beginning, he was always looking down and kind of, you know, not making much eye contact. But then after that, he kind of seemed to sit up a little bit more and, you know, look at them more. So I thought that really helped too.
Yes. And I was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to ask you if you felt okay if I put that down under what stood out to you about the therapist. And I was going to say too that what I liked was that he took his knowledge and applied it to their answers to help them understand what they were seeing and hearing from each other. Because he had knowledge about why they said what they did that they didn't have. you know, like what a mother naturally feels inside, and that she has more connectors that have to do with feelings and emotions in the brain than the male does, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's something that they didn't have.
Did you see whenever he made the reference to there's like 5 times more connective tissue? Did you see that the daughter, she looked over at the brother and she said, it all makes sense. Like I had to go back and listen to it a couple times because it was really light, but she was kind of like, oh, and he like shook his head. So, I mean, it was just kind of, I think the same thing. It was really helpful that they were like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like now I kind of understand.
I like the way you said that. Okay, so let's decide how we want to say this, because we just said a whole bunch of stuff. How do we want to say that, and what do we want to put it under?
I think we can put it in positive outlook. What do you guys think? Because one of the things in positive outlook is a sense of coherence, view crisis as a shared challenge, meaningful, comprehensible, manageable. Can be over there. I don't know. Or can be also relational view of resilience versus rocked individual, normalized, contextualized distress. I don't know. All of that goes under belief systems.
We have to figure out what we need to turn in, because I don't know, like the notes up top that I put in, I don't know if that's actually what we're supposed to turn in. I think those were more just like I was just trying to apply the reading. But are we supposed to turn in like the questions that you put at the bottom, Cheryl?
I don't know. I was trying to figure that out when I went back and reread it. She clearly asked us to use what we saw in the reading, which is what you did.
Okay.
And you extracted what we all saw, and I thought that you wrote it out very well. I was pleased with it.
Yeah, I did too. I thought you did really well.
Asked some very specific questions at the end that she asked us to address, but she didn't really state them in overt questions, and so I took the statements and created them into questions, and that's what you're seeing.
When did she ask for that?
It's at the very bottom of the assignment.
Oh.
So with the last one that we did,
Because what I have take turns talking about the points you identify, both the overt references and the more subtle ones. Mm-hmm. And then note the trends of your findings as a group. Did everyone identify the same points, or were there points that not everyone caught? Talk about your observations. Was anyone surprised by the findings or observations? Maybe that's what we need to write it in the observations.
Well, last time I did the writing for the Zoom, I was the group leader, and that's basically all I did was just summarize. So I took those questions, did everyone identify the same points? Were there points that not everyone caught? Was anyone surprised by the findings or observations? And just summarized what we talked about in each question. So I'd just say something like, yeah, we all agreed on the points identified, which were this, this, and this, or so-and-so noticed this, that, nobody else did, or whatever. It was just
This is the part of being the scribe I'm feeling very inadequate about. We said a lot of really good stuff between the 5 of us, but I don't know how to write it so fast.
So I wouldn't worry too much about, how do I say it? About necessarily writing everything. The summary only has to be I think less than a page even. So I would, it's, whatever works for you, but for me, I didn't really take, I remember, I did. I shared my screen last time, and so I took notes as people were talking. I just kind of typed things out, and then we could kind of go back together and be like, oh, I noticed you didn't add this point or that point, or let me just add that real quick.
Okay.
So we can help.
Those are really good suggestions. So how about if we just start at the top again, and you tell me what you'd like me to add, and I'm just going to kind of write and let you guys talk. Okay?
Yeah, well, I was just looking it over. It already has a lot on there. So.
Well, up at the top, we were deciding that may not necessarily be what she's asked us to do, but I'm okay with adding it at the bottom after we answer these questions. These questions she was specifically directing to us for this assignment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the counselor asked questions to each family member individually, and he asked them specifically each of the questions. He was fishing for information to know how to help the family, and the family was hesitant to answer questions, and the therapist restated that I'm going to put their answers. I did notice that he did that with every single thing we said. He restated it and said, am I understanding you right?
And the other point I saw was that he specifically asked them, why are you here? To each person, you know, and then he clarified, I'm asking you because you might, each one of you can have different perspectives, and they did have different perspectives. So that one, I think, is a very important because it made them to have the meaning of the adversity. One person was thinking one thing, the other was thinking about others, you know, but at the end, he put a cohesive in every single thought and start working with the family. I thought that was a very important point.
Okay, so they each had a slightly different reason for coming, but he was able to pull it together.
So I put the counselor asked each member of the family to express why they were there, clarify the feelings of each person to find a reason that motivates them to seek help. That's how I put it. So what do you guys? What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I liked how he asked everyone what their purpose was, and then he kind of tied all of their purposes together.
I also liked that he took time to like talk to each one individually. I missed the first few minutes because I finally found the link. I had to click to the second page. That's why I was only.
That's what I had trouble with too.
I know. I was like, I don't see this link. I don't know what you're talking about. And finally, I figured out. Oh, there's another page.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You might have already said this, but I just liked how it was like he didn't just jump right into like, all right, well, let's fix this problem. He took the time to like separate each individual and then talk to them as a whole. So like you're saying, like, why are you here? What are you into? Who are you? Move to the next. Why are you here? What are you into? What can I learn about you? Like, what makes you you? And what role do you play in this family? Because that's really important in understanding conflict, is to understand our roles. And he took the time to like get to know what everybody's roles were.
Yeah, another subtle thing that I really liked is he, like, by the end of the meeting, he had the husband and wife sitting together, and then he had, like, Jimmy sitting with his parents. Like, I don't know, I really like that. Like, he did it really subtly, but that's how it should be. Like, it should be the husband and wife sitting together, and then the kids, like, with their parents, not separated. I don't know.
Yes. Another point I thought that was important is that, where is it? They helped the family know that they knew each other very well, more than anybody else. At the end, when he started challenging them to do certain things to get together and to build the relationship again, he said that. He said to them, you know each other more than me. I only been here for 45 minutes, but you know each other. And then challenge them to work together as a family to find ways to overcome the challenges that they were having. I thought that was very cool how he did it.
All right, how are the notes going for that, Cheryl? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I want to add just another sentence. One of the things that stood out to me was that he was able to take the son who felt alienated from the family and judged, and the father who felt like it was dysfunctional, but wasn't as nervous about him, anxious about him as the mother. and helped the family understand, all four of them, where they all played in that, and that it was safe. That they were actually safe with each other. They just didn't realize it because their communication, they didn't know how to say it. I don't know how to put it. It was very impressive to me how he took all of their different dysfunctions in their roles and helped them see there was sense to it. Your mother is acting like this because she's afraid, and you mean so much to her. And you're leaving the house because you feel judged and you feel like they're angry with you. But the mother didn't know that she was making her son feel that way. And the father didn't know that he wasn't helping with that. And the sister didn't realize that she stirred things up until he actually said it. But then he gave the sister the opportunity to say, why are you doing it? Why are you feeling this way? Why are you upset at him? And she's like, because I care and I'm scared and I see who he's hanging out with. And I thought he was so good at taking everybody's dysfunction and saying, you're really not that dysfunctional. You just don't understand that your motives are real and very good. You just aren't saying it the right way. And so he was saying it for them, and that was working. I don't know. Can somebody think of a way to say this better?
No,
That's what stood out to me when I watched him. I was like, wow, you are really good at this. And that's impressive to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, they were so, like, none of them were on the same page when they first went in. And then after they left, he, like, asked each of them what they took away from it. And the mom was like, that really helped. Like, I feel like I understand everyone so much better. Like, they were all way on different, like, playing fields. But.
And even their body language changed. They were not stiff anymore.
Yeah, they were very much more relaxed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and another really great thing he did was say, okay, Mom and Dad, how about if you guys go on a date? Brother and sister, how about you guys do something together, you know? Father and son, hey, how about an activity, you know? That was impressive to me.
Yeah, and it was not only the date between the parents, but he invited them to come with a solution together, to work as a team to help their son. Because mom was doing one thing, the father was not in agreement how the wife was handling the situation. So I think when he invited them to go and have a date, and he tells them, you need to work together. You need to work as a team. Come up with a solution so your son can see it's not going to be playing mommy against daddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So both of them were in the same spot. Don't you think?
Yeah, well, his assignment was encouraging them to do exactly what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's talk until they come to an agreement. Okay, so what stood out about the family members to you guys? I'm going to write, I'm not going to talk
Hey, we only have 9 minutes left.
Well,
oh, no, okay. Upgraded. Okay, unlimited minutes.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay.
What stood to me about it is that the sister was taking the role of the mom. You know, the sister was, like the brother said, I have another mom in my sister.
Yeah.
You know, and then the father was openly, it was good because it's a therapy, but I was wondering if when they were arguing and screaming, if the father sided with the son and the daughter sided with the mom. Because it was a division in the family when they started this. I don't know if you noticed that. The boy was more about the father and then the therapist told them, okay, it's because girls deal differently than boys, kind of like what he said, you know. But the therapist, I think, was very subtle. He did a very good job.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, for me, it made me think. I kind of put myself in the shoes for a little bit because my sister is 10 years older than I am. So growing up, she was always like my mom, and she took care of me for most of like my growing up. Like she would watch me after school, and once she like could drive, she took me to all my piano lessons and soccer practice and this and that. And it was the worst for our relationship because it was kind of required of her by my parents, was to like take on that role because they both worked and needed her help. But it just destroyed our relationship, and still to this day, like.
So you resented her?
Yeah, because she would tell me, because I wanted her to be my sister. So I would get into the car after school in, middle school or whatever, and tell her about a boy I was crushing on or whatever, and she'd tell me, you can't date till you're 16. And it's like, I know that, but you're not my mom, and I'm allowed to have a crush on a boy, and like be my sister, like listen to me and be like, oh, that's fun. You know what I mean? Like, don't give me rules. That's why I have mom and dad. Don't tattletale on me. That's why I have mom and dad. Like, that's up to me to decide what I want to share with mom and dad, but I'm trying to be like your friend.
And I think Jimmy was feeling the same way.
Probably.
Because he said it.
Yeah.
And the mom said, if it was not for her, I will never know what my son is doing.
Exactly.
That's what the mother say, Yeah.
And so it was like really hard, and it put this wedge between like me and my parents too, because I didn't really talk to them because my sister would always talk to them. So like I totally felt what this kid was saying, because I'm like, that's my sister too. Like that like, yeah, and like I know that wedge that it can put there because I've experienced it, and so I was just thinking like, that's like you were saying, that's what the sister was just trying to protect her brother, because she's worried about him, because she wants what's best for him, because she loves him, because they're family. But she didn't do it in the way he needed or she needed. And by doing it, by not knowing what the right way to go about it was, the right way to express to him, like, I care about you, I'm scared, I want to help you, I don't want you to make bad choices, I love you. Like, by not knowing how to do that, and then it caused this void of, I have two moms,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Emma, I can tell you, I have 3 older children, and 13 years later we had 1 more. And so she essentially has 5 parents. They all want to have a voice in her life. They all want to tell her how to live and what to do. And she's really a great kid. She's a senior at BYU right now. But she has never felt like she has true siblings. And that's her biggest complaint. So I feel like I'm echoing exactly what I see happening in my family.
Yeah. And it's hard now because we're both married and with families and stuff now. And even still, she'll kind of try to tell me what to do with my family, and not like this is a big deal, but my family is, me and my husband are very well off. We both work hard, and we've established ourselves really well, and her husband and her kids are struggling a bit. And so she'll still try to like tell me what to do and stuff, and I'll say like, oh, well, we are remodeling the kitchen or whatever, and she'll be like, is that really how you want to spend your money? It's like, yeah, it is, because we saved up for it, and like now it's been a year and we're ready to do it or whatever. And it's like, it's not your place, like, this is my, and so anyway, that's exactly how I felt when I was when I watched it, and I was like, I feel this kid, like, because it's hard to have a sibling that you're supposed to be able to just like, and my brother and I are best friends. We're 6 years apart, so we still have a gap, but we're best friends. And my sister hates it. She gets so jealous, but it's like, you don't talk to me like my brother does. Like, you don't just listen and say, that's fun. Like, you have to tell me what I'm doing right or wrong. And I didn't ask that. Like,
but I thought it was very interesting how the counselor told Jimmy, do you see why your sister is acting in the way that she's doing? You know?
Yes.
And
open his
because
eyes.
he really clear any misinformation that they were having, because they clarify how they were coping. He was saying, my mom is copying by yelling, you know. The sister is copying by coming and tell mom what's going on. Dad was copying by saying, well, he's still a good kid, I don't have to worry too much. And Jimmy was copying by getting away from the house.
Yeah.
So when he comes, everybody's sleeping, or he will not listen the yelling or anything else that was going on. So
Yeah.
when the counselor talked to them, I thought that what he did really good, and he reiterated over and over and over and over that why they were behaving in that way is because of love.
Right.
And they needed to clear the misunderstanding that they were having with each other.
Yeah.
I love when the therapist said, he said, asked Jimmy, what are you going to take from this conversation? And he's like, well, I guess the idea that my parents don't hate me, but they're just freaked out. And he's like, yeah, just worried as heck. I like laughed when he said that. Because it's true. As parents, that's what you do. And when you want your kids to do a certain thing and they don't, and you're like, I can't make you, but I want you to. Like, I'm worried about you. And yeah.
I was also impressed that the counselor also made the mom feel like, because, you know, the dad said he didn't agree with her and, you know, necessarily how strong a feeling she had. And he said, you know, I have kids too. And, you know, I feel the same way. So he tried to also give her comfort. Like, you're not crazy. Like, this is normal mother behavior. Like, it's okay. So it kind of made her validate her feelings. Like, it's okay to be worried. It's okay to have concern. So I think that kind of set her mind at ease. And kind of when I watched her say that, she kind of sat back a little bit and she kind of relaxed a little bit. Yeah, she was always sitting kind of forward a little bit.
Yeah, because like the whole time they were like, the husband was like saying that she was acting crazy. Like they were all telling her that she was
yelling, you know.
Yeah, and I loved how the therapist was like, no, you're not crazy. Like, this is so normal, and this is just what a mother does. Like,
yes.
I think that was so important for her to hear. Like, yeah.
It was. I think so too. And he told them over and over several times, it is normal. This thing is normal. You know?
Yeah.
That it didn't make them feel that you were odd. No, this is normal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And
Oh, go ahead.
No, you were first.
Well, I was just going to say, he even said, like, he even was like, yeah, there are other families that come in that can't even do what you can do. Like, is that what you're going to say?
Exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, he was like, so he actually even made them feel like they were doing like pretty well, like better than a lot of other people.
And the fact that he's like, I deal with this all the time. Like, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes. Another point I like is that they make everybody understand that Jimmy is not a little kid anymore. That he is growing up and he's going to make his own choices.
Yeah.
You know, because I think I remember that he said, where he said he's not the same, something like that. He said, you know, Jimmy is not the same kid that you took him when you were in your vacations, wherever you're living before. He has changed, and that's not gonna. And they need to accept that. They need to respect that he's changing. But at the same time, he is the way for Jim to say, can you see why your parents, do you think your parents know this behavior will not be the same? So he steered them in a way that everything turned out to be positive and no feeling angry against each other, you know, or resentful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and he even asked the dad, he was like, do you remember how you were when you were his age? Like, do you remember? Kinda, to make him feel like everyone goes through similar things. Maybe not as extreme, but like everyone needs to find who they are and like needs a little bit of freedom. But yeah. Should we move on? Is that good for that point?
Yeah.
There is no sister be doing the driving, Rama.
So the next one says, did anything surprise you as you watched?
God, it didn't surprise me. I was surprised that the husband and the wife were not in the same page.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
surprised at that.
Uh-huh.
That's the only thing I think I was surprised about it.
Yeah, it seems like that might have even been the like source of all the problems, because obviously something like must have happened at home for Jimmy to feel like he had to escape.
Yeah.
And like, so I think that there was probably originally like fighting in the home, which usually starts with the parents, which is probably what caused Jimmy to feel like he wasn't important and they didn't care about him because they were fighting with each other all the time, which caused him to like not want to be home and like leave all the time. So I think honestly the parents might have been like the source, kind of. I don't know.
Could be because Jimmy even say about his father, he's never home. He's always at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they are home, the mother say, "Well, we always argue about this." So I was very surprised that there was no working together as a couple.
Yeah, so if he's never home and then when he is home, all they do is argue, that can't be a positive environment at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And the other thing that surprised me know about the family is that how the counselor allowed the people to feel safe in sharing their emotions. You know, they feel safe with them, and they were able to say exactly how they feel. I like that.
Clary, say it one more time.
I got you. I'm typing it right now.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, you're typing it good because I can type and talk.
Great.
I'm a secretary. This is what I do all day long.
Great.
I could help a little bit, take some turns while somebody says one thing and you finish it. I could start on the
That
next.
sounds great.
Yeah, I said it surprised me that everybody thought that everyone disliked each other. Like Jimmy thought that his parents disliked him, and then his parents thought that Jimmy disliked them, and so that's why Jimmy went away because he didn't think they cared about him. And then, but in reality, they all really cared about each other. Like they all loved each other and wanted the best for each other.
Yeah.
But they all thought they hated each other.
That's true. That's true.
That was one of the strengths of the counselor, was to be able to say that to them, to listen to their frustration and explain to the other family members they care deeply. That's why they're frustrated. That's why they're worried. That's why they have anxiety. That's a good point, Rachel.
Thanks.
What's the next question?
What could we do now as a future professional to prepare to help a family become resilient? So like,
what can we do now?
How are we going to copycat this guy? Because he's great.
One of the things that I really like is that he was completely at ease, cracking jokes here, cracking jokes about, because that create the atmosphere of friendliness. It's like missionaries going in houses and trying to make relationships, friendships with the people, so they can be able to be receptive to what they're going to say. Yeah. And that's exactly what this guy did. So I think that's one thing I would like to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think also, like we could encourage like husbands and wives to like go on dates and like spend quality time together, because I think that's where it starts. Like if they're happy, then kids are usually happy.
See the strength in spending time. One of the things that I feel like I've gotten the most out of this course, I felt like this information is invaluable. I'm giving it to all of my kids as I'm getting it. And I think one of the things that he did with every single question he asked, he put a positive statement on it. And so it was kind of in a way like the mood log. He took something different. He discerned the feeling that caused that negative action or statement, and then he explained to the rest of the family, this is why the mother feels this way. But then he would make a positive statement of action that she could do instead. And so he was actually taking the negative identifying the feeling that went with it, and then creating a positive action that could take the place of it. And I thought that was powerful.
I really like that. And then I was actually going to say something. I was going to say that. And then also, I like how he always tried to bring like connectiveness to the family, like connections, and creating those connections at the end. You know, how he said, I think Jimmy even brought it up. He said, maybe you guys could ride together in the car, because that's where they said they had communication before. And he's like, yeah, you could take me to the skate park. So Jimmy kind of offered that up, and I was actually kind of surprised, you know, and then he offered, you know, the brother and the sister to go. And I know we talked about this a while ago, and then the mother and the father would go on a date, and then he said, all right, set a specific time and then say where you're going, like so that I have the expectation. So I thought that was really positive, that he wanted to unite the family and create that cohesiveness and that connectedness. So creating unity, I guess.
Yeah, I was really surprised when Jimmy spoke up too and was like, yeah, take me to the skate park. Like that's
I was too. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned like pushing his dad down the like little ramp.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, he even smiled. You know, at the beginning he was just, why I am here.
Yeah, he kind of felt distant sitting off by himself in that chair. Like he kind of, I mean, because they were talking about him, and you know, when the counselor's like, "Why are you here?" and the daughter was like, "Jimmy."
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, I felt so awkward for him.
I did too. I was like, Jimmy.
And nobody say anything else, but everybody agrees with the girl. Yeah, it's Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah, they're all staring at him on the other couch. Yeah.
I know, poor guy. He was all by himself over there.
It's true.
But it was really nice when the counselor put him with the parents. And
I
put
was
the-
waiting for him to do that.
You know?
Thinking, move the boy, move the boy, move the boy, and put him in between the parents.
Because he was the one disconnected from both parents, you know.
For sure.
So
And that was the subtle thing that the therapist was doing when he moved everybody around. He was saying, Mom and Dad, you guys need to have solidarity here.
yeah.
And son, you're right in the heart of this family. Look at it. Everybody's worried about you. You're the heart of what's going on here. And so he put him right
You
in.
put it right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Right.
good. It was good. I liked it.
Well, I'm pretty sure he has tons of experience.
Yeah,
I'm sure he does too.
definitely showed.
Yeah.
Anything else that we have there? Another question? Let's see my stuff. That's it. So we need. It's in this paper, right?
So
What?
Did you already write it in the? Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
it's right in it. So do you guys want to read over it for a minute and see if we all agree on everything? And then, Rachel, did you want us to move it to the bottom? Should we leave what you put in at the top? How do you want to do that?
I don't know. Is there a word limit? Like, can we write as much as we want?
I don't think it matters.
I don't think there's a word limit anywhere.
Okay, so maybe we should just add it on the bottom just to say that we like did the reading and like kind of applied it. But then we can put the questions that we just answered on the top because that's like the main focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Morgan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if we want to just add it to the bottom, I think that's fine. I mean, leave it kind of how it is. So.
Yeah, because I like how Rachel put exactly our same points, but she just organized them. She just organized them. I told her.
I think it looks great.
Yes.
Yeah, I read through the whole thing a couple of times and thought, wow, you did a great job with verbalizing, exactly what we've all been talking about. So,
yeah,
good job.
So do you want me to, I can convert this to a doc and then turn it in. And then Emma, do you know how to, like, did you record when you were recording?
Yeah, so when you finish recording, when you stop the recording, it's gonna turn it over and it's gonna automatically start downloading it as a file. It'll take a little bit of time, probably like 20-30 minutes, and with mine usually took about that long. and then it'll just make it as a file, and it'll like go into like your downloads or your documents, and it'll just say like Zoom, and then you just like click that and upload it.
Okay.
But you have to upload it to YouTube because it's too big. It won't like upload into the file. So do you have, like, if you have a YouTube account, you just upload it onto there and then just give her the link.
Okay.
To
Did
the
you
YouTube.
check the grammar and everything, that we don't have any misspelling words? You're the secretary, Emma.
I can. You haven't taken-
Actually, you're really good. I said, you are really good. What do you do?
I'm just a secretary, but I'm actually a business major with an emphasis in human resources and administrative assisting. So
You know
I
how
have
to write.
I have taken a lot of typing classes.
You're
I had
great.
to get, for one of my classes, our final was you had to take a typing test and get your words per minute over like 85, or I don't remember what it was, but it took me all semester to be able to get it there. It was like, I was practicing every day, and I would like get hand cramps by the end of some days because I was practicing so hard trying to get up there.
Oh my gosh.
Do you also have to learn lots of different tech, like Google Docs and
Yeah, I took 2 Excel classes. I took a Word class. Google Doc is really the same as Word. Word has more features. It's just like an online version of Word, kind of. But I did take Excel and Word. My Word class was like my favorite class I ever took, though. I can show you. It's like, oh, that's not the right book. Wait, yeah, it is. It's awesome. Oh, wait. No, JK. This is not the right book. I thought it was. This is
so
awesome.
that was your favorite class. That's pretty awesome.
I will keep the textbook forever because I learned so much stuff about Word. Like, I mean, I didn't realize, like, I just used Word for typing and printing and copy paste. Like, there's so much stuff you can do. It blew my mind. Now I think Word